Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's Lair. I am your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and today we're diving back into the marvelous swimming pool that is Ludum Dare number 30. And today we're going to be in for a little bit of a twist in our normal storyline of indie games. Today we're taking a look at an indie gaming development community out of Louisville, Kentucky called Game Dev Lou. And I was introduced to this lovely group of developers by Two Scoop Games, a great group of chaps. The two of them make a whole bunch of fun stuff, and it looks like they've added a third scoop to their two mighty scoops on that delightful ice cream cone. So, Game Dev Lou started out in Louisville, Kentucky earlier this year, and their goals are to group up together bi-weekly and help each other learn and develop their games, pop ideas off of each other, and generally have one fantastic time developing games as a community and even competing in various jams together to help keep each other motivated as a group. They've competed in Ludum Dare 29 and now Ludum Dare 30, and we're going to pop in and take a look at all of these absolutely delectable games. Starting us off today, we have Relative to Scale by Ben James, who runs Peach Pie Productions. And Relative to Scale is a splendid game. It takes us through the microscopic worlds and evolving tribulations of various organisms as they wend their ways through the circles of life. And we start out as this delightful little amoeba hiding amongst reeds of plankton. And we are looking for these delightful little bacon bit Evo pieces. They're so scrumptious and well gristly and crispy. I love them. And we need 10 of them in order to evolve and move on to the next level. And we gotta hide from these spicy red amoebas who want to suck out Larry's insides with a spoon and probably a straw. Alright, now they're... You guys gone? I like to hide in the reeds. Makes me feel... Uh-oh. Get out of here, you. Get out of here. Alright. I think I saw some more here. Alright, there's 5. We need 10 of them to evolve, so we're halfway there. We just got to play it smooth. Like a sweet, sultry, cryptid jazz. Alrighty. So I can tell you right off the bat that I really enjoy the ambiance of this game. It's got a very nice, simplistic, minimalist 8-bit art style. And from what I understand of Mr. Ben James, he's a great 3D artist, but he's also an avid connoisseur of things 8 and 16-bit. And now we're evolving. Alright, now we're in the fish level. I can tell you that this fish level is partly purest evil, for one very specific mechanic, which I will try to outline for you. But we just need to murder these fish with our fire breath. We are dragonfish. I don't know if you have ever tried eating a dragonfish, but they are extra spicy, like Thai curry. Don't try that for a spicy challenge. You're going to get your insides crisped. But I love it. It's fun. They've got great little creaturey personalities. So the problem here is if we get hit, we lose Evo points, and we can get stun locked, as you can see here, and not be able to move around, and every time we get hit, we lose a piece of our Evo, and that makes evolving a little bit difficult. And so, for things like this, where you get stunned a little bit, give me a grace period, or make it so I can't just instantaneously lose all of my points. Because this originally took me like a flippin' hour to get through this level. I am not even kidding. But then I learned that they don't come all the way up onto the surface, and I can cheaty doodle. Cheaty doodle dandy. All the way. So, how does this fit into the Connected Worlds theme, Larry? Well, it's all about the circles of life. The worlds that certain organisms... Oh, they do go up onto the surface if they follow me. The circles of life that different organisms float within, in and about the world, doing their thing, trying to survive and trying to live and not get eaten. And I don't know about you, but as I say quite often, I like it when my red, juicy, delicious fluid stays on the inside of my body, unless I'm just at that sort of a party. But I'm not currently, so, we're not gonna do that. Alright, there we go. We've gotten all of our Evo points. And now we move on to the world of land, air-breathing critters. I have become a spicy blue lizard, not unlike a spicy bluish teal chupacabra. My job is to nibble on all of my compatriots. I'm feeling a mite bit peckish for their flesh. Get me some of them delicious Evo bacon bits. Come here, you. Come here. Come here. Uh-oh. Where did you go? I need to eat you. You're delicious. Oh, it's 2 for 1. It's fantastic. Come here, you. Get over here. I'm going to travel around by biting everybody in the face. Come here. Come here, Todd. Your face is delicious. Sorry. Just what had to happen. Ooh, Frankie, come here. You're delicious. You're delicious, Frankie. Did anyone tell you that you taste a little bit like peppermint, Frankie? Where's your brother, Lou? There you are, Lou. Okay. James, get out of here. Get out of here, Jamie. Come here. Come here, Jamie. Come here. You look delicious. Not the biggest fan of cranberry on my lizard. Alright, and now we're sort of into the social aspect of this game. We have a pack of lizards, and we have to beat the schniggles out of other lizards to make them obey us, because we are a spicy lizard bully, and we're just going to start biting everyone. Alright, we've got ourselves 2 extra lizards, we need 10. So one thing that the commentators on the Ludum Dare page for this game, and also myself noted, was that this reminds us an awful lot of Spore. And by that I mean, like, you're evolving, you're figuring out new life cycles, new levels of behavioral complexity, new levels of critter complexity, and while we don't have a character creator to make, phallic-shaped critters that have eyeballs in strange places, I definitely get that vibe. Even though it's often pretty complicated as to figuring how to do the lizard bitey. Uh-oh, I'm losing lizards. Losing lizards. Uh-oh. Alright, I got some back. Well, I can't even tell anymore. Alright, I'm back to 3. Our goal is to get 10 extra lizards. And so the thing that I'm wondering is, with that sort of connected worlds of different species as they evolve and adapt and... oh, nope, I can't do that. Those ones will beat my face in. Too many lizards to fight right now. I'm wondering how to expand upon this game. If I was to say, like, you were going to expand it outside of the Ludum Dare game jam. And I could definitely see this being a very simple, minimalist, educational type game. To help children understand, or just students in general, understand how the webs of life work together and do the things. Because that's certainly what's happening. I'm eating them, or they're eating me, and there's really no choices in between. Alright, I've got 7 delicious lizards. And you know, I might even say, like, you could add a little bit more complexity to the gameplay. So we have an attack. That's usually all we're given. And I think as we gain complexity in this game, we should also gain a certain level of behavioral complexity. We could do things like have some defensive attacks, some social behaviors with my army of lizard minions. What? Oh, come here, you guys. Alright. Oh, there we go. And then I could use these lizards. I could use them to attack for me. I could plan out some slightly more complex stratagems. I don't know. Play around with those ideas. Oh, and now we're a space planet. I didn't get this far before. Uh-oh. Huh? Okay. I crash into them and eat their delicious nougat. Oh, you're full of caramel. Timmy. Timmy the Moon. Oh, don't murder me. Those are my chunks. Alrighty. I'm 3 chunks bigger. Ooh, come here, Star. I want to eat you too. Where'd you go? Come back, Star. Come back, Star Bright. I thought we were friends. I promise I wasn't the one that gave Rainbow Bright that bad space tar. I don't know. Insert better heroin. Oh god, better heroin joke here. I did not mean to kill you, Paul. Paula Dean, space person. All right, that's 6. But no. This is a good game. It's got strong art. It's got strong sounds. I feel like it could be a little bit more complex, but I love the minimalist nature of it. I love the ways of talking about how the universe is interconnected in different realms and worlds of different organisms and how they all sort of fit together in the great web of life. Keep up the splendid work and try to expand on this a little bit. I think you could add some more levels, maybe add some more complex people like humans, having a battle and invading one another in space or warfare, and then you have a lovely package that's very well-rounded. Oh, and I exploded. Well, that's as good a place as any to end off on this game. Very nice job, Ben James. I hope to see some... You know, even if you don't change this up, it's a splendid package. Simple, straightforward. I like it.
1 minute.
Alrighty, after Relative to Scale, we have Rails by Mint Leaf. Mint Chip Studios, created by Matty Mint Richards. And we are in this lovely subway tunnel, waiting on our train. It will arrive in a minute. In a lovely, low poly world with some lighting. I do like me some low poly. One thing I can say about low poly is be careful with only doing one type of color range, because with such low, contrast, Larry can get discombobulated very quickly. I need to be able to orient myself in space, and this can give me vertigo, something fierce. So be very careful with that in the future. But it is a strong theme that you can definitely take into a full game with all sorts of shenanigans. And so the theme, I suppose, is worlds of the mind, or the peoples of the cultures connected by railway, which is a major means of communication. Can I jump on the tracks? Nope. Okay, we'll just jump in here and go for a ride. There's some nice train sounds. Nice voiceover. Oh, and that looks like it's it. Alright, well, I'm going to escape the train. Can I? Oh, I can't escape the train. Yay! I get to go exploring. Yay. Alrighty. But I like this. It's got a nice mood to it. And I could definitely see this being a game like Gravity Bone. You could have like a secret agent incursion down here. Maybe you got to plant some evidence on an MI6 member who's gone rogue, so he gets arrested by the Popo. And maybe you have like a shootout in one of these tunnels with his handler, who's also gone rogue. You've got all sorts of spicy options. I like it. And I'm curious as to knowing what you had in mind with this. I'm sure you didn't think you could make like a gigantic AAA game in 48 hours, but there's always an intent. You have like an idea in your mind. You're like, maybe I could make this train tunnel with a dragon and some spicy cryptids trying to hunt it. I don't know. As we leave off, I'm going to see if I can jump over the edge. I like to do that in alphas and prototypes to kind of look at the architecture. It looks like I can. Yay! Oh, that's pretty neat. Get to see how the tunnels are laid out. That's a really long tunnel over there and over there. Very cool. Nice job, Minty. Alrighty, next up on our list of awesome, delectable goodness is Sneaky Nessie by Barry Rowe and Loy Lemix. Barry is a part of Kestigen Studio, and Loy is a part of the Visual Villain Studio out of Kentucky's Louisville. And this game is absolutely splendid. Let's just jump in here and I'll show you how this whole... Oops. I hit space too early and I used my disguise. Well, the jig is up. As you can guess, we are the Loch Ness Monster, and people are looking for us because they're always looking for us because we are a pretty sexy celebrity. And we have to go behind bushes and trees in order to hide from them. So the jig isn't up and we don't have to hire a new publicist to explain why we were out nude, streaking through the woods. So we just hide back here, and because we're already pretty much green, we blend right in with the foliage. It's absolutely splendid. And I like it. It's very hide-and-go-seeky, but it's not too complicated. You just hide behind stuff and avoid pathing people with flashlights. I like it. It makes me feel like a special secret agent. And you know, the Loch Ness Monster is cryptid. It's a mythological creature that we can't quite explain. And we are good friends. Unfortunately, Nessie does cheat at cards on occasion. I didn't know you could cheat at Go Fish, but you can. And there might have been a mirror involved and a clam. But that's a tale for another time. Oh, here's another delicious mustache. Up, run away, run away, run away. If we get caught, we have to start over from scratch. And there's also something on the other side of this town luring us. And Larry has to wonder if it's not just about $3.50. Because that would be the right amount of cash to get Larry to jump across an entire city. We'll just hide here for a second, see what their pathing is like. Wait a minute. Wait a gosh darn minute, sirs. Is that a fanny in the moon? Is that moon got butt cheeks? Is that a butt crack? Am I getting mooned by the moon, you two? I don't even. But I like this game. It's got a very simple, hand-painted art. It's got a very simple premise of hide-and-go-seek with crazy people. It's got a nice ambiance in the background with a very fun up-tempo beat like I'm at a festival. And I can also, just go out... Oh, they found me. I can just go out about in town and use these regular disguises and they won't know anything. I'm just a man out for a lovely jaunt. I've returned, a video to a mom-and-pop store that's totally not Blockbuster because we don't speak of that evil place. And, it's splendid. I'm not sure how I would say it does connecting worlds, per se. Perhaps I'm connecting the world by going across town to find whatever it is that's luring me out of place, and maybe there's something to do with the moon mooning me with its delectably yellow glowing fanny. And I've got to imagine that to build upon this game... Oh, come on, get over here. To build upon the concept for this game, I'd say expand upon the items that you can use to hide yourself, maybe spread out the plants in town so they're not quite as readily available. So maybe like you break into a bakery and you find a one-off chef's hat, but the chef's hat only works in certain situations. I think that would be splendid. And then I was also not entirely certain how you were supposed to hide initially, because I somehow managed to just avoid all of the plants my first time through, and I didn't know you could hide behind them. So maybe like you have like an introductory sort of tutorial where there's an owl in a tree and it's like, hey Nessie, come here. You're practically green already. Just hide in the foliage. They'll never know it's you. I promise. Get in here. And then you've got an introduction, another cute character to add into the mix, and it would be perfect. But I like it. It's got that Mr. Magoo Pink Panther feel to it. It's really fun. It would definitely translate well for a kid's game, especially for tablets and such. Definitely expand on this outside of Ludum Dare. I like it. I'd love to be Secret Agent Nessie. And you could even expand into more levels, like first level, like Nessie's drawn across town, but another mythological beast needs his help. But what can be done? And so they have to go on different missions through different places and times. Ah, they found me. Well, this was great. I like it, guys. Very nice work. Just, playing around with it. I don't have too much to complain about. The controls are solid. Sound solid. The concept's solid. There's just a couple little jitters, as I'm sure you saw, where the townspeople flip out on the ground. But, it's splendid. Carry on. Alrighty, next up we have L30 Reboot by Travis Garrison, Anthony Quinsonberry, and Rex Soriano. And we are a splendid little knight who, is going through his various adventures, like attacking monsters, and, presumably, okay, to rescue a princess and maybe to get some delicious gold to take back to his countrymen and open up, I don't know, a haberdasher shop, because it seems like he has a splendid hat, or knight's hat, and I think it's kind of, it's a delightful fledgling platformer. I think it's got some, some splendid potential. And you know, I always look at these boxes here, like, barrels, and I always think about, like, a pirate's cove, you know, with, like, ships slapdash together with ropes and tethers and just a little bit of pirate know-how and stucco and duct tape. And I think this could be a great crossover, little platformer, some combat and some jumping and puzzles. Could be cool. Not sure what the grand scheme you guys had in mind was, but I'd love to hear from you. It looks like it had some splendid potential, and I like these spinning platforms. It's something, that's something you don't see very often. I like that. See if I can get back up here to this floating block. So looking at it, the controls are solid. The jumping is a little bit sticky, but not too bad. The animations are clean. The rigging is clean. And I guess we're in a castle. Up. And yeah, I think this could be cool. The one thing I would definitely note is be careful when you be careful when using cutaway mechanics to denote a combat sequence with like that gremlin that we saw a moment ago. Just because it feels to me like it pulls you out of the flow and the rhythm of the game away from the primary gameplay. Sort of like why I never got into games like Final Fantasy. I know there's a lot of people that liked Final Fantasy out there, but I could never get into the take turns gameplay. It just didn't seem as genuine to the story. But I like it. It's got a fun atmosphere with this particular style of artwork and Little Knight. It's got good music. Not sure how you guys wanted it to connect to Connecting Worlds, but splendid anyway. Try to flesh this out and finish it, and I think it'll be really cool. Do like a post-jam version. Even if you didn't get a chance to submit this to Ludum Dare 30, post it on the front page. They'll give you some great feedback. They'll give you some tips and some ideas. I think everyone should do that. It's a great way to get involved with the community even further. So very nice job, gents. Alrighty. So next up we have the Souls card game by Jeff DeHut. And this is one, I don't think I've ever seen a card game submitted for Ludum Dare before, and I understand it's one of only a handful of like non-code related printable games that you can play in a room with your friends without having anything electronic involved after you've created the cards. And the goal is you want to capture as many souls across the ether to the human world or the demon world as possible by lining up these delightful characters with their various elemental signatures, like the green triangle, the blue sphere, and the yellow element. And I'm guessing the souls both count as the human beings and as the demon characters. And I like it. It's got very simple, minimalist character design. It's not too complicated. The gameplay doesn't seem too complicated. You just put down a character, and then the first person to get all of the elements lined up with it as possible gets control over them, and the first to 5 souls wins. Simple, straightforward, I like it. And the other thing is, if you do go back and refine this, try partnering with somebody to create a digital distribution of the card game. You can play with people randomly online. I feel like that's a great way to enable a lot of access for people who might be like myself. I don't have a lot of friends who are into card games that I can play with physically in the same room, and the few that are tend to be a little bit more competitive than I like, and it's really hard to get into a game with them. You know, I'm sure you have a friend like that, you know. They really just want to win, and they don't want to just take it easy and let you learn the game before getting spicy with you. But it's really cool. And it looks like Jeff has also got a game out on Kickstarter called Pocket Dungeon Quest. So I will see if I can find that and add a link in the description if anyone's curious. It's another delightful physical card game. And yeah, this is cool. I like that you threw a monkey wrench into the Ludum Dare machine and submitted a game that doesn't have to directly do with code. And I think the only real feedback I have is this is a really fun, simple design. Maybe clean up some of the lines. Looks like a couple of the lines are a little dirty. Not many, just a couple hinks here and there. And this background is really busy. It's a really stark contrast with the flowing curls and florals and almost floral imprint design. So maybe try and play with something a little bit more simple. But this might also be a throwback to more traditional card games and card backs. So I don't know. But very cool idea. I like it. I'm probably going to see if I can get some people to chop it out and play with, maybe record it and put up a review for it. And if you do, or if we do, you will know I will link you to it. So this was cool. Nice job. I always like something different. Something thrown into a monkey wrench into the works. Alrighty, next we have Afterlife Dance Party by Lisa Brown with musical help from John Fio. And the concept here is we're a delightful angel and we're going to have an avoidance dance party with this lovely devil. But there's story, so we'll jump in and have us a look-see. Uh-oh. Alright, it's the weekend. Daryl's here. I'm stepping out for a little while. Mind the place, won't you, Daryl? And avoid bumping into any spirits while I'm out. And most importantly, do not fraternize with Stanley in hell. He's the enemy. And of course, the first thing that Daryl's going to do is call up Stanley on the old heaven phone. Hello, Stanley. Would you like to have a dance party? Are you flippin' kidding me? Let's do the thing right now. All right. Daryl and Stanley mishing it out. You'll notice that Stanley does the exact opposite thing of our angel Daryl, and we have to avoid these spicy little spirits, because if not, their commotion and unhappiness will alert the big man upstairs that we've been partying instead of doing our jobs, and he will be all sorts of spicy with us and unhappy, and we don't want that, because we want the party to go in as long as possible, and that's actually how we get scored. Alright, where are we going to go? Oh, let's jump to this side. And we'll flop to this side. I like it. It's a game... Oh, I got 2 for 1 there. That's not good. I like this sort of a game. It's got you thinking in 2 places at once with opposite controls. So you have to think differently for both areas, and you have to kind of plan ahead from where the hand-drawn arrows are indicating that danger is coming from. Like it. I've also had a heck of a time with inverted controls, not hitting a gajillion ghosties. But it's good. I like that sort of a gameplay mechanic. And from what I understand, Miss Lisa is also a AAA developer from Insomniac. So we have a triple indie, we have a AAA indie, a triple indie, who gets together with some indies and does the delicious things to try and be innovative and delicious. I like it. Yeah. Uh-oh. Alright. And so, the artwork is very splendid. Very simple, straightforward. It's very hand-drawn. I like the appeal of something hand-drawn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the spicy man upstairs has found us. I'll have to call you back, Stanley. Daryl's in trouble with the man upstairs, with all the soul bumping and smacking. He heard us from a mile away. But yeah, the music's really strong. Nice job on that, John. I like the art and the sort of theme and the aesthetic to it. It's almost like a kid drew this in their journal after school and made like a flip book out of the animations. It's really warm and bubbly, and I really enjoyed that. And especially that there is this storyline leading into the game where they have a whole bunch of fun, and it's very cute and cartoony. It's just fun all the way around and really simple to make. And it's sort of an endless runner type game, an endless avoidance game with dancing angels and demons. Not too complicated, uh-oh. But, just complicated enough with having to think in 2 places at once that it keeps you on the edge of your seat and all kinds of feisty. And so I think the only thing I might try to play around with is maybe slow down the algorithm and make it ramp up a little slower over time with the ghosts that we have to avoid. Obviously not a lot of time to nitpick and play around with that during a 48-hour jam session, but just something to think about for the future. And something I always talk about with endless type games is that while beating my score is always really nice, if you do refine this, I recommend building out the story, building out the enemies that you can fight against, so that there's more variety as you get through, as you get more points, and as you dance longer. Maybe you unlock a new level or a new story mission where now that God has been trusting of you in heaven because you danced for, I don't know, 2.5 minutes straight, he's going on a trip to Malibu. He'd like you to come with and run some errands for him. But, wouldn't you know it, there's a spicy Miami dance club that just opened up, and Daryl the Demon, he's here Or not Daryl, Stanley the demon, Daryl's the angel. Stanley the demon's in town, he's visiting his folks, and he wants you to come over and dance with him. I think that would be great. It gives you some extra levels to unlock, more to unlock than just beating your old score. And that's something I'm down for. Because, again, I'm not always the person who's interested in beating his old score. It's just not supremely important to me. But very nice job, you two. Maybe just clean up some of the hitboxes and slow down the algorithm because it kind of gets confusing and complicated really fast. But I like it. It's strong, it's simple, yet complex. It's a good mix. Anytime I say the word simple but complex usually means that I like that combination of the things. Okie dokie, and for our next game we have Rover Control by Daniel Sizemore, and this is an interesting concept for a game. It's all about mimicking the control delay between man-made ground control and the NASA rovers that go up onto the moon or onto Mars. There's a several minute time delay between telling it what to do and when it does the thing, and it represents a very real sort of challenge that our technology finds itself when going across the interstellar divide, and that's just Mars and other planets in our own solar system. Could you imagine if we got all the way to some other planet like Terra Nova or whatever that spicy planet is that's been in all the movies lately? He's so spicy, but he's a sexy planet. So we'll just start doing the thing here. We can use WASD and start to space. Alright. So what happens is we need to get through this lovely obstacle course like a lunar surface by doing the things, and to give us a good marker for our controls, we've got a little time delay bar in the upper left-hand corner of the control screen. And you know, I kind of like the idea of this game. It's a very specific set of challenges. You've got to be able to time up your... I got murdered. But you've got to be able to time up your commands so that they go through fast enough, and it requires you to look farther ahead in space in order to do that. I did it too early at that time, trying to get over to avoid the rocks coming up. And so this game... You know, it's very simple on the graphics, but I can tell that that is rocks. I can tell this is like a lunar surface, and I can tell that, you know, this is a rover, and I can tell pretty much everything I really need from this game, and it's splendid. It's a very fun concept, really. And I guess what really brings it about as the connected worlds is the fact that this is sort of the thing that really connects NASA, in other words, with its robots and its equipment, and it's really important to our fundamental way of gathering information about our solar system. So if there's one thing I might recommend to change in this game, other than maybe adding a couple sound effects, but that's not critical, and you know, in fact, I'm very fine with not having very much in the way of sound effects, because that's... quite frankly, a little bit much for this game. Well, maybe not a little bit much, but it's unnecessary because NASA doesn't necessarily need sound in order to do its thing in space. But it would be useful, and it would be interesting to make a well-rounded game. And you might even consider making some of the terrain a little bit more randomized. Not necessary, but I like it. You could even add some more details in the terrain graphics. But I like the rover. Keep the rover as it is. And then maybe make the delay in the controls, like, not necessarily easier, but offer me some other options for difficulty. So that while I'm learning the game, I can get in here and start touching stuff. And then as I start to get better at the game, I can get the option to increase the difficulty level and get further along. And much like any other endless runner type game, I always recommend giving people, you know, skills and characters and levels to unlock so that they have more to look forward to than just a higher score. And I guess the goal of this game would be to just beat the game. And I'm going to try and do that, but I don't think I'm going to get very far. But Mr. Sizemore, I definitely enjoy the concept for this game. I think you should play around with it some more. I think it's got potential. You could make it into an interesting adventure game where you've got to uncover some alien ruins, perhaps, or maybe just an educational game, maybe. Not a directly educational game, but an inspirationally educational. I've been saying that a lot this review, but I really believe it with some of these games. I think they're splendid, and yeah, you could definitely take this and go on some very realistic sciencey mission. And I guess that could take the form of you need to go gather the moon rocks to stop the Moonanites from breaking into your interstellar base. You need to dig up some of the soil and boil it to find water and the potential for alien life on other planets, like many of our probes like to do. And, I mean, there's a whole host of things that NASA has its probes doing. You could even make a probe control game where you have to follow in the contrail of a comet in order to grab scientific data on what it's been doing. You have a whole cornucopia of things that you could do to investigate this. A whole bunch of probes throughout the history of non-manned space flight. Do all the things. It's got a lot of delicious potential, and that's where I get off on this adventure in the long chasm. So very nice job, Mr. Sizemore, and keep up the delicious work. Alrighty, last but certainly not least, we have the boys from Two Scoop Games, and they are Alex Bazuska, Eric Lathrop, and Wei Ying Lam. So I guess technically they're 3 scoops now. Yes, that's how I like it. Triple stacked ice cream all the way to the sky. And so this was their first game where they've worked on that. They built a level editor, and they plan to expand this game into the future. And you know, the guys over at Two Scoops, they know how to lure Larry back to review their games, game jam after game after game jam after game. And they put together this delightfully cute little picture with my Chupacabra head, which was Larry Chupacabra and the Emerald subscribe button, and it's the cutest flippin' thing. Oh man. That was great. I love that. That made my day. So let's just jump in here and do the things. So we have to use the arrow keys and space in order to avoid this spicy Skelito man who's going to destroy the ground beneath our feet. And so the one note I have for you guys is arrow keys are all well and good, but I'm a man who games with his hand on his mouse, right hand on the mouse, left hand on the keyboard with WASD and the space bar. So allowing me to utilize the WASD keys instead of arrow keys if they're not being used for anything else, extremely important to me. It just messes with my flow when I'm pulling my hand away from my mouse onto the arrow keys, even when I'm not using my mouse. It's just weird to me. Alright, let's do the thing. Alright, here we are. We're a delectably cute little mouse man. There's a skull. There's some little bricks. I have a fun little hoppy noise. And here is the Emerald Burrito. I'm gonna have it for a snack. But uh-oh, Mr. Skullfig Newton, he doesn't really like that. And you'll notice something interesting about the ground that he has destroyed. But it's not exactly apparent right off the bat, which is why they put in these fun little steps that you can hop up in case the entire walkway got destroyed. And so in this level, notice where I'm walking. So I've walked all the way over here, and then I'm going to hop onto these, and then I'm going to hop in the middle of this, and then I'm going to hop into the middle of this platform, middle of this one, middle of that, and jump onto the burrito. Now watch where I was hopping. And that is where the delicious Skull Man decided that he wanted to get spicy with my footing. And so you have to be careful where you jump, you have to be precise with your jumping movements, or else our Indiana Jones-styled hamster cannot get where he needs to go. Case in point, I got a little too feisty. So we'll go here. It doesn't really matter because there's these blocks underneath these middle ones. And we'll try to jump as little as possible and walk as little as possible over these steps. Alright, I still only left myself one jump back there, but that's okay. I think I can make it. I'm a spicy Indiana Jones hamster, and I do the things. And so this is good. It's a nice package. I could do with a little bit of background music, But the sounds are good. The little hoppy noise is very bouncy and cartoony and fun. And look at his little hat flip as I jump through the air. Isn't that cute? Love it. They do a nice job with the cartoony style art. It's always fun and bubbly. Alright, Skelito, you do the thing, man. I don't even need those blocks. I don't even need them blocks because I'm going to sneak around the bottom. I'm not entirely certain what the theme for Connected Worlds is here, but I'm going to guess it's a crossover between, I think there was a hamster anime and Indiana Jones, and that's the wedding of those two worlds, bringing them mystically together to do the things. And so the graphics are strong, the controls are strong, and it's an interesting way of handling an obstacle that can destroy the ground beneath you. And as you can see, it can even destroy the containing blocks of my arena here if I wanted to jump outside of the map and murder myself that way. But I don't, because I'm not feeling particularly suicidal, homicidal, fuzzicidal, hamstercidal, class recital, piano recital, recital. There's a lot of things with sidle in it. Recital, ital, ittle, ital, ootle, wootle. Alright, but I think it's cute. It's strong. I dig it. And so looking into the future, and this is one of the times when we actually want Mr. Scully to destroy the obstacles, or else we can only fall to our deaths here. I'm looking at ways that this could go into the future, and if you're pulling from Indiana Jones, obviously you have a lot of Tomb Raider-esque, treasure hunting, archaeologist-style mechanics that you can play around with. You have, like, darts and pendulum blades that want to murder my cute little whiskery face that you could add. And maybe they could directly interact with Mr. Skullington. Like, maybe you could jump. Let's say that there's the pendulum right here, and I jump right here behind the pendulum, and I time it so that when I grab the burrito, Mr. Skullington whisks onto the pendulum blade, and it reflects it and shears a hole in the wall that I can't seem to reach on my own without jumping and getting murdered. And then I jump and don't get murdered. I think that would be splendid. This is really strong. It's cute. It's fun. I've had some of these levels that were pretty challenging. They went pretty quick after I figured out how the jumping mechanic worked. But other than that, it's good. I like it. Uh-oh. Alright. But that's the game. Very nice job, guys. You guys are all a great group of indie developers. If you're interested in checking these guys out, I'll have a link to the gamedevlou.org in the description, along with a link to all of these games. They're all really great. And if you're in the Kentucky area and you're looking for a group of people that meets bi-weekly that can help you learn things like Unity, or help you debug your game, or test it, or just, bump some ideas off of, look them up. They meet periodically. They just had their last one on Sunday. I was hoping to meet that, but I had some technical glitches. But they're a great group of folks. Check them out. Look them up. I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. We got more great Ludum Dare coverage coming up. Until then, don't forget to like and subscribe, and toodaloo!